here's what I'm asking you to do in your peer review of your colleagues' projects, which I'd like you to submit next week. A rough draft, remember, and the main things that I'm looking for are, does it have the required elements, which are these, and I think that it's going to easily have those. What about the kind of evaluate the levels in terms of research and content, look at the narrative elements, and then also the terms of the deliverables. Let me take each of these in turn. I want for the projects to incorporate at least 3 communicational modes. So, you know, image, sound, and moving images, text, artifacts of other sorts, and so forth. All of those things are useful. We want to keep it relatively short, and remember that your second writing assignment is going to actually give you another opportunity at video, and what you may end up doing is deciding to take your project in chunks, discovering that really you can just best do your project in by offering maybe the first 5 minutes in the digital media project number 1, and then offering the second 5 minutes in digital media project number 2. Whatever you do, though, with this first one, you want to make sure that you include credits and sources and acknowledgments regarding creative rights is what I meant. I did not mean creative writers. Yes, I mean, where do these images belong? Give them credit if they belong in the historical ET collection. We want to know where those are, but we also want to know the title of the images as they exist in the collection so that future researchers can find them. Remember, I'm using the term actually researcher because we want to think about this project in some ways like a scholarly essay that would have a works cited page that future researchers can then follow. So your attention to the source of your source materials, of the artifacts that you use, is just as important in the artifacts as it is in the quotes that you select and so forth. And it should include at least 5 cots. Remember, that's your movement from one piece of source to one kind of source to another, you know, where you caught in other elements. Your core content needs to be artifacts and information from the Northeast Texas digital collections, but you don't have to have your entire story be there. It can either begin or end in the digital collections. It can also hang out there. I also want you to deal with, bring in as much as possible or wherever possible, public domain footage and materials that allow derivatives. So things like archive.org and so forth. Go to the digital collection, go to the tools in the course home. Remember these? There are plenty of tools that you can make use of that include things like Creative Commons. All of this is free source material. Locating source material. Lots of things here. Just so that we know where they are, I will, in case you're having trouble finding them, we're going to doc sharing, and we're going to click the tools. And notice the titles we're talking about right here, free media, and this download right here will provide you with a number of resources in terms of general and detailed sounds that you can use, images, and there's a wealth of audio and video items that you can make use of. Okay, so, but you need to have access to those items and mix those in. In terms of research and content, I want to see lots of evidence of careful planning and composing and producing. That means that you want to have worked through these details likely by journaling, but also by offering storyboards and so forth. I need to know something about Northeast Texas from this. I want you to pay attention to audience and purpose, reflect on the archival research process and composing practices and the best use of those. Make use of the affordances of all the various modalities available. Be very careful with attention to documentation and copyright, and be creative and insightful. So those details are really important. I'm going to now turn to an evaluation of Jan's piece. This is a nice introduction, I think, to the things that I want you to be looking for in terms of deliverables, in terms of narrative elements, the 7 elements of storytelling, which are crucial, and we'll see how we work with this.